it was the only number that when you multiplied it by any number, 19 times 1 gave you 19. 19 times 2 gave you 38. 19, and you can continue to figure this out by just adding 2 to the first digit of whatever number, and then subtracting 1 from the second digit of whatever number. So 19 times 1 gives you 19. 19 times 2 gives you what? 38. 19 times 3 gives you what? 57. 19 times 4, and you continue to go on and add on, which you have the 1, 3, 5 in the first 3 levels of the 19 number. To count down in that last place, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cipher, or 0. This was coding, or what the Quran referred to as signs. Are you with me? Which is why they say the big sign or the beast that Al-Quran was speaking about. Are you with me? Because they were trying to explain that or malaika or angels were. Yet, when technology was presented for the people, they started to love on and grow attached to and give honor to the technology because they needed a technological representation of who Allah Ta'ala was or God or the source was. Yet they couldn't recognize it in the computer that they exist in, which is called reality. They couldn't recognize it there. They needed technology. And even then they were saying they would ignore those signs. So the beast would come forth and teach and talk. And it was a being. It was called a computer, 1943. The computer. And that computer had a job. When you say computer, it's saying that this being is coming to compute. Or what? Calculate. Remember we said, let he who have understanding. Well, they say understanding, but overstanding. Remember this. Here is wisdom. Let he who hath overstanding count or calculate the number of the beast. Not everybody would know what we were talking about. And then this being comes out to challenge the source. Are you with me? As in, some people would worship technology. Some people would worship biology. Some people would walk in alignment with what man created as their God, which was still coming up under the 19 as AI. The first letter, A, the ninth letter, I. AI. And that became the God of man. And then the rest of the people would say, well, God already gave it. This is the sustainer, the provider. He's already given us our provisions, our razik, or our razak. To allow for us to be aliens or aliens, which is why Malachi York brought forth the science of the 19th galaxy, the 19th galaxy of Alien, to say the most high or the highest point that you can reach when you get up to that divine place and you make a union with that which was referred to as Anu, who is and what is the most high known to you. What do these people do? Reign supreme over men. And so I'm calling out to all of them and I'm letting them know that the reason why you forgot Malachi, the reason why you wanted to forget Malachi is because he was making you really stick to the works of what your books were saying do. Everybody want to keep speaking about the riches when it comes to the soul. Everybody wants to act like there's even an alignment with becoming top dog in man's world and becoming top God in Allah's creation. They want to act like there's a merging. When they said that's your being lukewarm. You don't have to stress finances. You don't have to stress the economics if you really know what this is all about.
Come on.
Because all things have already been provided for you, especially if you're seeking that kingdom that's inside of you. So if you really have the keys, then the keys should show you directly back to the holy place. The holy place, which is a type of temple. Are you with me? So when we took the one you call Prophet Rasulullah Muhammad on a journey called Al-Isra, the night journey, okay? What a lot of people forget, we say, what, Miraj. Al-Isra wa Miraj is to say what? The night journey and the ascension. Because a lot of people leave it at the night journey and you only dealing with the blackness. You have to factor in the ascension because we didn't just take him through the night and what you call the Borak is to say a bright thing or the lightning is a million different ways, beaming. But the Borak is something that was bright and shiny or white. We didn't just take him on the border through the night, we caused him to ascend. And he was at the end of that destination in the presence of who you call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was in the presence of the Most High or the source. And what was it referred to as? The holy place, or Jerusalem. Are you with me? Which means he went from the dark place to the light place. Are you understanding? So for a lot of people who were confused about what that journey was about out of the darkness into the light. That journey was about also something referred to as Isra. So you say Isra, you're speaking about a journey. Okay? Isra. You say Isra, you're saying time. Okay? If you were to take from the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, all right, and then go 5, 6, 7, you create a scale. Where in the center of that scale, called the Ketub, stay with me, Ketub, which is another word to say point or axis or pole. In the center of that scale, all right, if you were to draw a mountain from the point that's in the center to the point of a first point and a second point beneath the center, you will have a pyramid. If you were to go from that point in the center and connect another point and another point, you will have another pyramid upside down. This will form an hourglass. Remember, I told you, don't forget about Esra, the time. Remember, Michael said, remember the time. And in the same surah, which, don't forget, surah also ties you, literally, to a word, sutra. And sutra was the Sanskrit word for threads. Mm-hmm. Okay? And it also brought you to a word that meant a sign. So the same way you say what surah and what ayah, you're saying what chapter and what verse. Surah brought you around to the word sign. And ayah brought you around to the word sign. Go look it up. Yep. And we said pay attention to what? The signs of the times. So in Al-Esther, you find that they mention about the hour, okay, or the differentiation between the hour or the time periods. And how do they do it? They said in chapter 17, 12, right? That's Al-Isra, Surah 17, okay? Ayah 12. They said, we made for you the day and the night. And when we made the day and the night, it was for you to be able to differentiate between these two signs, as they literally called it. There were two signs. And those two signs had different frequencies, which you refer to as the lesser light and the greater light. Are you with me? One of the signs was the nighttime. They put this in better sheep or in the beginning, okay, or in the beginning in the book of Genesis, in the Bible. So for those of you who come from the Christian orientation, remember what they said. They created a light that ruled over the nighttime and ruled over the day. And I'm saying they because God is Elohim, Elohuma, okay, or Elohim meaning these beings, or Elohim also meaning gods, more than one God, plurality. Okay? They said they created a light, which was the night, or the moon, Yemaya, Hillel, and we'll get into that. And that nighttime was devoid of light. And we just broke down, when we broke down the sciences of, and built up the sciences of the occult, that the light is the information, correct? Okay, so if the nighttime was devoid of light, then we're still speaking about Sophia's world, or Baphomet's world, or the dark world, okay, or what was referred to as the Dark Ages. In real time, literally, they had something called the Dark Ages. You go from the 4th century on up, and you will find where they were literally saying, okay, it was the 5th century, because 400, yes, so 5th century on up, they were literally saying, in that time period, they didn't have information. They were lacking the sciences, and they didn't know how to move forward. You understand? So if the night was devoid of light, then that's the part of the self when it comes to another word called the jihad. The jihad, okay, that part of the self is struggling to overcome darkness.
Got your lucky jersey?
Haven't washed it since the win streak started.
Nature Made vitamins?
All right, or a lack of knowledge. Because when you don't have the knowledge, you are trapped. That's why we said you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Yeah. We wanted you to know. Yeah. We wanted everything to be clear. This is everything that was put in Al-Quran. We wanted everything to be clear for you so that nobody could come and confuse you. Yeah. Are you with me? So we said the night will be devoid of light. And we also said that the daytime, or that spark during the daytime, or the light hours, or raw, okay, everything would be bright and clear for you. Are you with me? So you have that on the scale of your hourglass, where everything in the lower world, okay, starting at that one, which yields that root, everything in that lower world leading up to the heart, okay, is the world of darkness. Is why they told you that Muhammad, all right, alayhi salam, had to be taken and placed in a higher plane, in a holy place. And they had to open up, do surgery on his heart. And they waxed him and cleaned his heart and extracted the portion that they said was the dark portion for Shaitan, or that which would have caused him to oppose the true light. They took that out of Muhammad and then sealed him back up and sent him out into the world as a messenger of the true light. This is important. Why is it important? Because they told people to watch out for the time where people would walk around with the symbol of the kaf on their head. Stay with me. Remember, anybody can grab the light. I had a lesson that came out. I said, devils can teach too. I hope you hear what I'm saying.
Yep.
Because if we're saying the symbol of the kaf, what are we really saying? Because if you say kafir, what does it mean? A kafir, say it phonetically. Kafir, cover, cover, cover. All right? If you know the truth, and you know what this is truly supposed to be about, if you have been exposed to Dr. Malachi York, and you know that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad showed and told and prophesied about the coming of the one who will bear the knowledge and the wisdom of the Lamb. He literally said it phonetically. The Lamb, or the shepherd, Imam Isa. If you saw Imam Isa and you saw this is the chief cornerstone and you rejected him, you are walking around not only with an unstable foundation, you're passing out the blueprints of an unstable foundation.
Come on.
And so that means if you know who Dr. Malachi York is, and you know that if you would have placed, no disrespect, the works, the information, the knowledge, and the wisdom of what Dr. Malachi York brought forth to your whole plane, all of your religions, all of your walks of life, all of your classes and degrees will be here, all shadow hour, speaking about what he brought you, ungrateful people. If you were to look at the works and place them next to the works of anybody you would mention, from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, to the Minister Farrakhan, to Prophet Allah, to Francis Cress Wilson, to Dr. Ben, to Dr. Africa, Bill Valentine, Bobby Emmett, whoever you would want to say out of your mouth would even be a master teacher of today's day and age. If you were to place the works, if you don't believe on me, believe on my works, of Asa, Imam Asa, Malachi, Marduk, Murdoch, next to any of their works, you know what the true light would shine from, or where the true light would stream from. You know this, and that lets me know that you are a kafir if you cannot come out and say who the master teacher of our time is. And so this goes for 19 Keys and anybody else. You can feel how you want to feel about it. If you are not leading with the fact that we still have someone with us who gave honor to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who taught us, who walked with him to give honor to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him. If you know that he's here, suffering the first 3 degrees of the 19, the 1 and the 3 and the 5, that gives you the 9, for you to be able to come out and speak on the 19, he was the reason why the rest of these people were able to figure it out. They won't give credit. If you know he's here, battling the beast in Colorado, the color red, the belly of the beast, yet you won't say there needs to be a movement of green light, there needs to be a movement to help combat what they've done, there needs to be a movement. Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, why is there not a movement to get your brother out of the belly of the beast?
Come on.
And if you don't feel you're powerful enough why can't you start or spark a movement to clear the name of one of the brothers who made it be that some of the people who you brought into your movement were awake enough to hear what you said?
Come on.
We didn't have the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The most Honorable Elijah Muhammad did his job, though, and told you who to look out for. And so, what is the symbol of the Kappa? I can tell you the symbol of the Kappa, because if you know the true light, and we told you, face your Lord, face the true light. The night is devoid of light. We said that. That when you finally figure out who the true light or what the true light is, and you face it, you will be of the ones who will know what it is. That's why the whole Knowing movie is about the sun. Mm-hmm. The Knowing movie is about CMEs, or what they call coronal mass ejections.
Come on.
It was all about the sun. And you want to know what else it was about? It was about a young lady. It was about a person named Lucinda. Stay with me. Lucy, light bearer, who had the ability to hear the whisper people, the Etherians. If I'm making this up, tell me that the image of the angels in the Noah movie is not the same exact image that is right here in this book, the Holy Tablets. Tell me it's not the same image. It's the exact same image. Are you with me? So those Etherians had the ability to communicate with people telepathically. And they referred to them as the whisper people. And those whisper people channeled and communicated with whoever this little girl was. And remember, they tried to say she was schizophrenic.
Talk about
and
it.
they also tried to say Dr. Malachi York was schizophrenic.
Talk about it.
The minister speaks the science of the will. No one calls him crazy.
Come on.
They listen to him. Malachi York speaks the science of the will, shows you how they were built, who's driving them, what their names are, how you can find them and communicate with them. He takes people in real time, shows them where they are, how to see them. He shows them in real time. He told me the tones that I don't even have to utter, that I can think in my mind and they will come. I've shown people in real time these crafts that people are calling baby planes and starships. Ask Maxine Keys or any of these people who claim to be walking in the order that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad set up. Have they ever had a person-to-person encounter with any of these ascended masters?
Come on.
Or is it all allegory to y'all? Is it all something we can take and make a t-shirt out of and sell it? Because if that's the case, you haven't been exposed enough to that true light to even step out here as a teacher.
Step back.
When they denied Malachi, they caused a rift in time. And we've been holding that rift together every time we speak the name and every time we remind people. It's not like you're not saying there aren't or there are leaders. You're saying there are leaders because you always mention the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Come on.
You go on forums and teachings. I see you. I've seen all of these people. And you will mention all of them. Yet you won't mention the one who came forth and brought everybody together.
Come on.
At the katuk, or the center point, or the pole, where you get into the science of the pillars. Because we said that there was a tree, which is also a pole, in the midst of the garden. And it had two parts, or two trunks, or two bodies. Are you with me? To that tree. When you get into the science of the Kundalini or the Caduceus. Okay? And it's all about the pole. So if you think in pole and you only see this, that's only 1 degree. But at one point, the pole is this. And there's the bottom pole, and there's the top pole. This is how your planet operates, whether you believe in flat earth or not. This is the science of a north and a south pole. Mm-hmm. He brought everybody to the center axis point, the Keter, and remind them about the Keter. He said, Faise, you said the same thing twice. Did I? Because if I say Keter, what am I saying? Scriptures. The words that were supposedly the words of guide, God, guard. He brought you back to the word. He said, let's deal with the sinner, the word, the fire that's inside. So if you know that there was someone who did that and activated the green light, I can find you a million images with Dr. Malachi Ziok, all right, with the green light surrounding him. If you know he's here, why do you cover him up?
Come on.
Why have you chosen to be a captive?
They can't
Because
answer.
you walk around with the symbol of the kappa on your head. And that symbol is none other than the crescent moon. In the sun cycle, if you're still rocking the crescent moon, we know who you are.
Come on.
If you think I'm making it up, then go read Al-Quran, Surah 17, Ayah 12. Go read it and tell me they didn't say that one of those lights or time periods was devoid of light.
Come on.
Huh? You will find that it says that. So that is the sign that we're looking out for in this day and time, because we're in the sun cycle and people need to be reminded about not only the sun itself, but what the sun does for a person when you stand out in it. The fact that when it interacts with your crown, there is an ascension process that takes place. Just because you stand in the sun, your molecules start speeding up. Scientifically, that's referred to as ascension.
Come on.
Scientifically, the moon can do no such thing. You can stand out in the moon all you want to. It will never cause you to ascend. So how are we having higher level conversations walking around with a moon? And how do you know who Malachi is? And I know this nigga heard me, because when I said all I'm asking for all of y'all to do is to clear up the smoke. Let it be clear that there is a master among us still. Let it be clear. Don't treat him how y'all treated Muhammad, okay? When he was mourning Fatima, excuse me, that's Mooney. When he was mourning his mother, don't treat Malachi how you did the prophet when he was just trying to get you to understand, and you ridiculed him and belittled him and acted like he was insignificant until you could profit off his works.
Come on.
Listen to the key word, profit. Everybody playing profit. Now they playing profit. That's all it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it wasn't, you would have no fear letting people know about Malachi. But you know, and I'm speaking directly to the soul because I know he's watching. I know all of them are hearing me. You know that if you were to open up them doors and let people know who Malachi York is and what it's all about right now, to date, they wouldn't need to follow behind you. They will also know immediately you ain't on no high level anything.
Come on.
So when I spoke and I asked them to clear up all the smog and the fog, his response was, we don't need master teachers in this day and time. We need master builders. My response to his response is, you are neither. You're not a master teacher, and you're not a master builder. I've seen a master teacher at work, in person.
Come on.
And I remember, even though I was a toddler, that's the difference between you and I. I saw the master teacher at work, and I saw how the people were handling him who were upset about the fact that he was doing the works. He didn't claim to be a Muslim just to claim to be a Muslim. He went in and ascended. The highest of ranks, became what was referred to as Imam Isa. Translated Al-Quran. Spoke to people, told them, you're not even supposed to. Yusuf Ali is a poor translation of Al-Quran. Before the Sunnis came forth and admitted what he was saying, when they were at one time calling him crazy for it, you're speaking about somebody who went and learned all of the languages that were necessary to break down these religions. High level. When most of these people can't say a single phrase in Arabic, sort of, the same generic one, Assalamu alaikum, and they chop and screw the fuck out of that one, yet you want to deny the one who did it. This is why it doesn't make sense. If I was not brought up in right knowledge and exposed to all of y'all schools, plus the school that allowed for me to see the ins and outs of all of y'all schools, I could still step back and see if we were to look at everybody's works. there was no reason why Malachi Z. York should have been abandoned. And there was no reason why he should have been shut down and the works should have been overlooked. Because not only is it a part of your history when you come in the name of black, that's why I tell people, watch out for all this pro-black shit, because how you going to be professionally black? That means professionals make money. But how you going to make money off black? Unless you make money off black. And black means ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
Black means people don't know the whole game. Or they wouldn't think what you were saying was high level.
Come on.
If they really knew the whole game. If they were exposed to the true light in the way in the hell, they still come up under a crescent.
Nobody can debate that. Reason why, y'all, it don't matter who it is. If I call out 21 Savage, he ain't gonna say nothing. He gonna say don't say a name. I call out 19 Keys, he ain't gonna, if somebody bring up Phase 1 in a 19 Keys interview, you're gonna see him do exactly what 21 Savage did. He gonna dodge it, right? They don't wanna play. Even Rashad Jamal thought he could play. And when he thought he could play, eventually he wound up blocking me and telling everybody to stay away from me. Why he telling everybody to stay away from me? When it comes to war and we on this battlefield and we're fighting with the information, the gems, the jewels, whatever you want to call it, and people's souls are at stake, wouldn't you want to keep making sure that you could battle this Phase 1 person if I'm an agent that was sent by the government? Rashad Jamal said to these people who don't know anything about anything that Phase 1 was a government agent. Right? You had people like LifeWave, who these off-brand Sabians, right? Coming out saying Phase 1 was an industry plant. You see, the same person who wanted to work with me, DMing me, talking about we can make some money off this vegetable sales, whatever the hell he doing over there with them herbs and plants, that we can make some money. When I didn't, and I turned them down, now I'm a plant. You see that? Now they forget I keep receipts. The point is, can't none of them stand toe-to-toe with me. And I'm only reminding them that, for one, you can't do nothing with me. What you think gonna happen when Malachi walk out? Because y'all can't do nothing with him and he been locked up. You see that? He can't deny it. So all of this stuff that they've been kicking and pushing like they on some high level, all that shit is fake. The reality is it's about $1 and their survival in the earth plane. These people ain't going anywhere, you hear me? They're not going anywhere. They don't have the formula. They don't know how to build a community. Look at the conscious community. What is that? Somebody point and tell me, where is the conscious community at right now? Every time you turn around, the people who's supposed to be in the conscious community, the spiritual community, right? As soon as they start getting some attention, they start telling you that you can't tell them how to be spiritual. Translation, we don't want laws. We want to be lawless. Iniquity is attractive to us. When you start telling us to put our clothes on, no, I'm embracing my sensuality. No, you're not. You want attention and you're using your body to get it. And when you start saying it's not all about money, here come the idiots. Well, I can't be woke and broke. You see that? Nobody said you had to be woke and broke. Why is broke even a part of your terminology or your vocabulary when you're supposed to be so higher level? Why are you worried about somebody referring to you as broke or not having access to carbon-based fiat or not having access to something that never had any type of value to begin with? I thought you were the one that understood that. If you higher level, shouldn't you understand higher levels of energy? Wouldn't human beings and their soul be a much higher level of energy? Wouldn't human beings and their consciousness and their attention be a much higher level of energy than just some paper with some Caucasoids on it? Or whatever you want to call it. You can even talk about the digital, or we got cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Did you do it? Did you create it? All this talk about you ain't a god if you ain't creating nothing. You didn't create the money that you out here slaving for either, or blitzing people for, or gripping people for either. Y'all got to pay attention to the whole chessboard. Chakra bars. Why Chakra bars ain't never reach out to Phase 1? Y'all know about Chakra bars, and I swear, all of y'all probably think he woke. All of y'all probably think these people care about the people. I watch everything. I pay attention to everything. These people follow all of the same ones I done called out in the name of blackness. But when you really read into these beings, are they really standing on that side of it? Absolutely not. It don't matter who, because ain't no one single name that you could tell me is too big for me to address or ask questions to. I did a whole letter to Farrakhan, and we can play that tape too. You can't tell me I can't address these people, because who are you? I'm not under your psychosis. I give you respect because I choose to. You haven't earned it from me. If I say I respect a person like Minister Farrakhan, he didn't earn that from me. What has he done? In your time period, on the past that you come from, possibly you might have seen a Million Man March. You might have, been happy about that. You might have heard somebody say that Malcolm X was worthy of death because he spoke out against the dictator who was supposed to be, in his eyes, the dictator, most honorable Elijah Muhammad, alayhi salam. You might have saw that and said that's okay. You might see the NOI doing the things that they're doing, but what does that have to do with me? And what does that have to do with my community and the things that are going on? I don't care if it's a rapper or anybody. The brothers out there with the unity movement, great for them. All right? I see a lot of merchandise. I see commercials. I see businessmen. I don't see people who are invested in the soul. Because people heard me out here screaming and say, listen, we got an elder in prison fighting for his life, fighting to get out. This same elder put us all in position to be able to know what to do with this day and time. What are we going to do? And all of them turned away and said, we don't hear him. Now, you explain to me how that makes sense. You explain to me what you see is a photo with somebody with a moon on their head. You explain to me how that makes sense in the sun age. You see him passing around all these Bashira people, all of them up under him, right? Bless their souls. Because he's leading y'all straight to the furnace. And you don't know what I mean by that yet because you haven't pulled away. Once you get out of his gravitational pull, you'll see what I'm saying. Where are y'all going? You already had an honorable Elijah Muhammad before most of y'all were born. I'm talking about you young people too. Then you had these branch offs where you had these baby NOIs like the 5%ers. Supreme Mathematics. Supreme Mathematics ain't even Supreme Mathematics. It's just Islam. Anybody who studies the sciences and the lessons will be able to tell you that. It's Islam. You haven't gone past Islam. And then you get to the 19 keys and you don't understand why he has his name as 19 keys. What is his actual name? His name is Jibril Muhammad. You haven't moved past Islam. And they out here telling y'all they're going to have higher conversations, a higher level conversation. You're under Arabs. They won't allow you to have higher conversations. They won't even allow you to sit with them Saudis and the rest of them. They won't allow you to sit with them and talk to them about what's actually going on. What they actually think about Muhammad, what they actually think about Fatima, what they actually think about Hazrat Aisha. They're not going to have those conversations with you. All of that becomes the religion that you up under and the business that they sit on top of. I'm going to say that again. The religion you're up under, the business they sit on top of. You think they coming down into Atlanta to come and pray with the brothers, prostrate with them? They don't care anything about the Western Hemisphere's off-brand Islam, as they call it. They say it's not mainstream Islam. They don't even acknowledge them. But you got to branch off of their religion and they won't even acknowledge you. They won't salute y'all. They mock you when you take your Hajj. You come to Mecca. They mock you. You see? But you telling me you're going to take these people to a higher level and you won't tell them what that moon symbol really is? That's Hilal. That's who that is. Hilal, the word Hilal is a crescent moon. And that is a word or a name for one of the devils. And that 5-pointed star is a symbol of Shaitan, Hasatan, the opposition, an imperfect symbol. It is not the 6-pointed star. The 6-pointed star that corresponds Heka emblem. I'll show you right here where I explained it in one of these older videos from like 2021, 2022. You see that? There's all this as above, so below with the 5-pointed star. That's a lie. These people are liars. And you have to respond this to me. I've been saying this for years. Why nobody ain't said nothing? All them people who you thought was ready to murk up at 13s, next time you turn around, you see them taking pictures of him sitting in the middle of a pentagram, talking about some he elevated himself. Blow them candles out. All this theater. You aren't ascended masters. You sitting in the middle of a pentagram don't have absolutely anything to do with what's happening internally. What happened to you when you started reaching out to these symbols and sigils to be your empowerment? What took place in you genetically? When if I bring up the fact that you have the sigils in your genes, you can't even hear because you won't study genetics. You got the Gazuth in your genes. You have that 8 or that twisted spiral of Kundalini in your genes. The chromosome, the heat stone. But they letting people like Rashad Jamal say they don't have DNA. So they can't research DNA. And they don't have the labs or the equipment to fact check what Rashad is saying. But you can go and check in with these labs and get the equipment to fact check it. And you can see that DNA has stuff listed. Ain't nothing you gonna find for DEA. It doesn't exist. He made it up. You see that? Notice they don't have the ability to come forth with anything new. They're just branching off of things that already exist. When they start talking about carbon, that one element, they have no idea what they're talking about. Say, which carbon are you referring to, the 666? Which one? They say, what do you mean? Just carbon. No, give me the different carbons. It's not even that hard if you studied, if you understand what you're saying. But they don't know what they're talking about. Ask them about carbon 13. Ask them about carbon 14. Then ask them to be quiet. Because it ain't 666 all across the board. You don't know what you're talking about. And then you pick this one element of proton, electron, neutron, right? That one pen, you pick that up and started writing that you are the devils. That you are Satan because Satan has the word phonetic equivocal of soot. So you saying, oh, we got black in our brain, neuromelanin. But you ain't gonna tell everybody has black in their brain. Everybody has darker pigmentation in their brain. Neuromelanin just means that. Darker pigment in your brain. Everybody on the planet has melanin. Animals have melanin. What are you gonna speak about what's really going on scientifically? That you're not just some people walking around here with some extraterrestrial DNA alone. You're not gonna be able to explain that, are you? You see that? So they start running this game because if they can blow up that black thing to reverse the inferiority complex of the old days, then people will buy into it. That's why they always pushing, oh, make sure y'all support black business. Support black business. You see that? And then ask, what has become of this black business? Y'all tell me real quick and don't lie. What has 19 Keys built? He said, this ain't the age of master teachers. Noted. Okay. He said, this is the age of master builders. Noted. All right. Next time you see him, he's in there having eggs and grits with Charlemagne and them. Talking about some, we need to build a Black Wall Street. How about we had Black Wall Street built up in Edison, Georgia? And y'all won't talk about it. Y'all go all the way back to Tulsa, Oklahoma. You reach all the way back to the 1920s. You reach all the way back then, and you won't speak about what just happened less than 25 years ago. So what has he built other than his bank account? What has he created? What is he running right now other than his mouth? And got all these people following him in the name of blackness. Say, that's a powerful black brother. In what way? In what way is this a powerful black brother? His credit? In what way is this a powerful black? The most powerful thing you see 19 Keys do is stand on the stage and attempt to emulate the voice of Phase 1 by screaming about how we're black. What did you get from that other than excited? Then why didn't you just go to the YoungBoy concert? You would have been excited. There's excitement there. There's a performance there. There's a nigga on a mic there. Now tell me what changed. Look out into the community. They reaching all these people who already bought into their brand. Are they reaching the young niggas? The lost souls? What happened to that page? They ripped that out of the book, huh? Well, you got to go into the communities and reach them too. Not just talking to people who already bought into your product and your brand and your image. You see that? And they don't have the formula to reach others. I'm asking you, what have they built? Anybody can say it at any given time. It shouldn't be hard. What have they built? You name a community that 19 Keys is responsible for. Don't bring up no online thing. That's not real. Do you know that? Y'all know when y'all get off this live, we don't live together, correct? You know, we're not living for of and by one another on this live, right? You know, there's a screen you're looking at. Did you know that? And that sounds are coming out of it. Were you aware of that fact? So all this online community shit is illusion. Where y'all at? I thought it was higher level. You're supposed to know that. Because the Wi-Fi go off. What happened? They bombed our city? Think about what I'm saying. That shit is an illusion. When I went to Tamaray as a child, where Dr. Melakazi York built pyramids, temples, houses, homes, a beach, all kind of things. When I was there, that was real. We had our own language, and it's still living to this day. Our language is alive. It ain't even just the same as before he went in. It's still changing and growing and expanding, living with us. We have a living language. We had our own currency. We had our own firefighters and policemen. We had people all over. What are you talking about? We need to find out how to build it. I need to figure out how we can get to the community and build the community. No, you don't. You're a kafir. If you stop being a kafir or of the kafirun, those who are the knowers and concealers, you conceal what you know, and highlight what Malachi York did. Then maybe you'll have the blueprint in your hand. I'm showing you that's the blueprint. There, he just did it. He's alive still too, and he just did it not long ago. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't even do that. Alayhi salam. He didn't even do that. Farrakhan ain't did that. Alayhi salam. Well, I'll still say peace to him. Assalamu alaikum to him. He still ain't did it. Y'all waiting on these leaders to do it. They ain't did it. It's not like they can't. They have the manpower to do it. They have the finances to do it, the economics to do it. They just won't do it. You run into the NOI, they in the suburbs with Sally them. That's not a community. Now, when we see them meeting and doing their business, that's not a community either. You're a peddler, or you're a businessman, you're a salesperson, or whatever degree you've acquired. But what has actually changed in the dynamic of the community, other than the fact that we figured out different ways for people to make money? And that's great. What about the soul? Y'all are using things that were set up to help people find their soul, and you're monetizing it. How you gonna speak about 19 keys and you don't have them? You can't name one of those 19 keys that you possess right now. Higher level and earn your leisure, all these other stuff like it's advanced, and then you're gonna listen to them and they still speaking about just extraterrestrials that they don't know anything about, Dead Sea Scrolls they don't know anything about. And then you see what happens. Billy Carson got to talk to Wes Huff, a little wolf that came from the dark, West Huff. He come and talk to Wes Huff, and Wes Huff and Puff and blew his house down in front of everybody. Shows you the man didn't even know what he was talking about, but you want to sit here and try to debate a book that you don't even know anything about. You just went and learned about it. You don't know anything about it. Because if he would have started speaking to you in Greek, if you were dealing with the New Testament, or if he would have spoke to you in Ivrit or Hebrew, Aramaic, or asked you these words and what they actually mean, you would have broke down. Because people playing games. So why you sitting here trying to debate his belief with him? Y'all wasted time. What would have come from that? All y'all people in the conscious community, what did you gain from that? Other than to see Billy Carson, have to deal with one of them people and show him up in front of everybody, and the whole Christian community mocked him. What was gained? What was built? What is Black Magic 363 built? I'm waiting on y'all. What have they built? Black Magic 363, the biggest thing he did was stand on top of Stone Mountain. I was right there. I was 10 feet away with Billy Carson. Billy Carson was walking in my direction. He looked up, he saw me, and he made a beeline in the opposite direction. Y'all think I'm lying. Why would I lie? Some of y'all saw me on that mountain. You don't even remember until I just reminded you. Remember? I had the 3 sisters with me, and we were walking, the 4 of us. And no matter where I went, I had a sister looking west, sister looking east, sister looking north. I was looking south, but we would change directions. You don't remember? Some of y'all met me in the crowd. They see me walking past. Peace, peace, peace. Yo, Faise. Yo, peace. I'm on the move. They walked right up to me and see me and dipped the other direction. It's not any of the stuff that y'all think. When they encounter me in person, it's a different thing. Yeah, B-Dell was there. That's a fact. And B-Dell was like, yo, you want to speak? I got you. I'll make sure you can speak. I'm like, I don't need to speak. My presence is speaking. They didn't know what was going on. Say, who told Phase 1? Well, you'll never know when I pop up. Now, what you think will happen today if I say, all right, y'all, in 3 days, everybody meet me on Stone Mountain? What you think that turnout going to be like? And what you think going to happen? We're going to stand there and talk or say, Atlantis. And I can't damn tell where's Thoth. If Atlanta is Atlantis, where's Thoth? Answer me. If Atlanta is Atlantis, where's your technology? Where are your buildings that resemble the Atlantean buildings? Where's the resurrected Wahani? We saw it, but you won't act like it. You act like it doesn't exist. Tamaray. It already happened. Now you out here screaming Atlantis. Okay, where's Tahuti? We're missing Tahuti. I say, well, I dare to say that Rod Hayes is definitely not Tahuti. Stop playing. I dare say young Pharaoh is not Tahuti. You can't say this person ain't Tahuti and Tahuti hear you say that and he supposed to be Tahuti and you saying he not and they don't do nothing. That's not what gods do. And what Tahuti does is he sets the record straight. So if I done told y'all that nigga Marshall with that eye tattoo on his face called himself young Pharaoh, right? This non-ancient being, talking about young Pharaoh, Pharaoh I-10, he can put whatever name he want to put on top of Marshall, nigga, you steal the feds. That's the reality. But if I'm telling you this nigga Marshall, this agent, is not Tahuti, he should be able to respond to that. He can't. What he gonna say? Because one thing that people, they fret is when you come in contact with me, I'm gonna ask you questions. What the fuck we going back and forth for? Let me ask you something. Oh, you swear that you filled with the Holy Spirit? Well, let's see if you can. Oh, now it's limited. You telling me the Holy Spirit is limited? You should be able to do whatever it is that I'm asking you if you really filled with the Holy Spirit. All this stuff is fake. They capping. Let me say it like this. They capitalizing. All of that cap lies. That's all they came to do. They came to con the community. They just con and con just. They're the con just community. All they do is just con. And the next con come up, the next con come up, the next con come up, the next guy, X-cons. How you person come back? You see what I'm saying? Then they steady rolling with it. I say, all right, Bobby Hemmett is not a master teacher who got something to say. And then they come up and they talk to me. And remember how that happened? Remember how that went? And they was like, yo, you can't say nothing about Bobby. You tripping. I like, well, let's talk about it. And then at the end of the conversation, I said, so did you really learn something from Bobby Hemmett or was it entertainment? The nigga admitted it. He said, well, I ain't gonna lie. He said, that was entertainment. Okay. Because it get different when you got to deal with it tone for tone. Bobby Hemmett is not a master teacher. That nigga ran his mouth about a whole bunch of Knights Templar shit. He couldn't reach back into ancient Egypt. He tried. He couldn't reach back into it. He didn't understand it. Dr. Ben didn't understand it. You see what I'm explaining to you? Because he just kept saying, we Egyptians. He couldn't even deal with the bloodline truthfully because he doesn't have the information of the bloodline truthfully. So, okay, who did it? Who came forth with the ancient Egyptian order? And Bobby Hemmett lied. He said Malachi York wasn't speaking about ancient Egyptian stuff until Dr. Ben. That's not true. Malachi started off as Amunubid Akata. You ask people, what does that even mean? They don't know. Kalai Amunura got on my live, and I asked him, what does Amun mean? He didn't know. I asked him to speak to me in the ancient Egyptian language. He said he don't have to learn that. Stand down. Y'all are not masters. You're not masters. It's showing more and more every day. 19 Keys say he first of all, he blocked me. You know what I'm saying? And you know why? They don't block each other in that conscious community. They want to debate about it. They want to talk about it. They want to make money. They want to do sales. They want to do this. That. Everybody tune in and listen to us debate. Nope, not with Phase 1. They block him. You say, I don't need that negativity. All these people who done dissed you, all the people who called you a con artist, whoop, whoop, you sat there and talked to them and and no, but when it comes to Phase 1, he's just challenging you, asking you, why y'all leaving out Malachi York in this conversation? Why y'all acting like it's not important? Oh, I gotta block him. It's too much negativity. No, the truth is you're dodging the truth. So you'll see 21 Savage say, don't say his name. You'll say 19 Keys, don't say his name. Anybody heard Umar Johnson say anything? He won't say anything. Who else? I mean, just name them. They're not going to say anything. And when they see me, they're not going to see anything because they start looking around whistling. Because we'll be right here in front of everybody on top of this mountain. It'll go down. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about right here. You can't dodge me. You can't block me in real life. So like right here, let me ask you some questions. Let's talk. Where you going? Where you running off to? Come on, everybody. You know what I mean? Atlantis. That's the most advanced work they've done. Brought some people to the top of Stone Mountain. And what's so crazy, I told y'all, they missed the meteorite. The meteorite would have flew right over them if they would have done it on Malachi York's birthday. But they pushed it back 2 days after his birthday, and they missed it. I'm like, so y'all going, okay, you missed the fact that the meteorite came through in Atlanta on his birthday, along with the green light and all of that, those who were able to witness it. You see that? So it's like this. The longer y'all play, the worse it becomes for you because your illusion is shattering. 19 Keys, you ain't big. We know that. You ain't one of them masters. How you going to be a master and your inspiration is just Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Malachi already surpassed him. And he's supposed to surpass him because it was written that he surpassed him. So now, if you're not on the degree of Nuwapu or higher, if you can access higher, then that's not higher level. I'm telling y'all, the higher level is not Islam. That's still peace to all of those people who are up under Islam still. Y'all prostrated and doing y'all thing. The brothers came up on here, remember that? And we were talking, we can deal with Islam. I can speak to those who call themselves mu'minun. I can speak to those who are mushrik out there in that world, mushrikin. Either way, that's not the highest level. You see? Yeah, even if you say mutajassid or what do you, mujassid, illa mujassid. All right? Illa mujassid. The word illa is saying God, like a deity or a deity or a ruler. Okay? Or someone who's extraterrestrial is another way to look at it. And mujassid, the word mu is saying you're of this or you possess a thing. So illa mujassida will be someone who is a God that incarnates into flesh. All right? What is called illa mujassida. You might hear people say illa mujassida. All right? So illa mujassid, avatar. Okay? That's another way to see it. The word avatar, Ava, Tara, star fathers, Abba. Why you say Abba and Abba? Okay, let me tell you why. You say the word bet in Ivrit or Hebrew, there's another version of that where you have ve instead of be. So one gives you be, one gives you ve. So you can flip those around. That's interchangeable. Another letter that does that is the letter Pe. All right, Pe does that. So you say Pe, you can also say Fe. Okay, so you have the suffix or that mark that allows for it to be a different letter or a sound that is produced. You see that? So if I say Abba, I can say Ava. All right? Abba or Ava, father. Abba, Tara. The word Tara means star. So star fathers, those who came from the stars. All right? And then you say the word avatar in Sanskrit, avatara, it means to descend. So descend from where? Most people looked up into the sky. They didn't know they were looking out. They didn't have that global or geocentric worldview. You see? So they look up. They say, oh, up there are the stars. And those who came from the stars were intergalactic travelers or interdimensional travelers, depending. And they would come into the planet. They call them Kachina or Allahumma. It's like a plural version of Allah. And I know some of y'all might be like, Astaghfirullah, because you don't think it's plural. But the point is, when you say the word Allah or Elo or Elo or El, there's still a plural version of that. The word, not the deity that you named it, Allah, after alot, or, you know, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. You're still a plural version of that. So Allahumma or the Elohim or Elohim, Neteru, okay, the plural version of Neger or Neter. You got that U on it back of it, so Neteru. All right, those are plural guys, like a council or the judges. All right, or now you call them aliens. You don't say Elion. You say aliens or foreigners, like the word foreigners or jer. And those foreigners come from outside of the planet, which is referred to as the cosmos in Ivrit. It's referred to as outer space in today's day and age. The heavens in the biblical science or the biblical terms, all right, or Oranos or Orion, okay, where you have different leaders or overseers. Overseers like who? Overseers like Osiris, all right? When you say the word Osiris or Usir, look at the word Usir, overseer. Usir is an overseer like Asaru of this realm, all right? Linked in with Orion, those three stars or points or gates, okay, that are lined up with the three pyramids of this planet. They call them pyramids of Giza, the great pyramids. All right. That overseer is referred to in some stories as Osiris. All right. And then you have the family. You have Horus or Har. Okay. Harar or Harut. All right. And that or those beings are referred to as Messi or Mesu or Mesohat or Mesahu or Messiahs. All right, El Messiah, Isa El Messiah, Jesus the Messiah. You might say in the Hebrew Israelite school, Yahshua HaMashiach, all right, or Messiah, okay, or Most High, Mosiah, Masu, all right. So when you're saying the word Maasu, you're saying Orion, all right, Orion or Oranus. So the Messiahs come down from the heavens, outside of the earth plane, into the earth plane, but they can't just come down. They must have a what? Jesada. And Jesada means a flesh, a body. So this is a suit. Go watch the movie what? Avatar. And they show you how it's done, where they can take the consciousness of a one being from one flesh or one body and stream it into another body. I think another movie that came out was called Cells or Selfless. It might have been called Selfless. I think in the movie Selfless, they showed you that they can do that. So they have this technology or the know-how to take the consciousness of a being, which you would call the soul or the ruh, all right, of a being or the psyche, and stream it into another being where it hooks up to that being's nervous system, okay, and is now functioning how that being functions, tasting how that being tastes, smelling how that being smells, okay. All of your sensory input compartments of that body hitches up to or attaches itself to whatever that neutral seed is that is able to go from body to body. You see, I'm explaining it to you. Now, that's just what they're showing you in the movies. Eventually, they're going to tell you it's real. But the truth is, they're doing it already by talking about head surgery. How many people heard about that? Oh, we're going to take this person's head off and just put it over there. Meaning you're going to take their soul, which is rooted right there in the seat of the soul, which is that brain. You're going to take it and hook it up to another solar system. Y'all get me so far? And that solar system is your nervous system. You have a solar system. okay, which allows for your heart to function. It allows for your lungs to function. It allows for the brain itself, the parts of the brain to function. You have a stem, you have that central processing unit, and you'll look at different writings and they'll tell you, oh, the heart is the sun of the solar system. Either way, there's a solar system and different organs or planets around it. Okay, that's that neutral seed or blueprint that allows for you to live in each existence. So how did Herod know that El Messiah, or Yahshua as they call it, or Hamashiach, the Messiah, was coming into the earth plane? They said they saw a star, not just any star. They said the star moved. And when that star moved, they knew where to go. The wise men knew that. They knew where to go and find that star. That's called a Henu. Henu. Okay? And the Henu, or the ship, or the starship, or the ship of light, the Mu, was able to travel and hover over the birthplace where they were supposed to put the soul into the flesh. They call it Bethlehem. Beth or Beit Lechem. Okay? Beit is a house. Okay? Lechem, like saying bread. And bread was a sacred word for flesh. So the house where they kept the body. What body? The body of the one they call Christ. Are y'all with me so far? Okay. So Christ gives you Cyrus. You say the word Cyrus. That's Christ. You say the word Christos, that's Christ. You say the word Christa, which speaks about an attraction between negative, positive, as you call it in this earth plane, where the body connects with the spirit, the ruh, all right, or ruach, all right, and it connects as a conscious explosion. Now you have breath, being able to breathe in and out. The book of Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. I breathed my spirit into man and he became a living soul. But he formed man out of the dust of the ground first. The dust of the ground, or the clay, is what human beings are made out of. Is the simple word for that is called mold. Y'all have a mold. All right. Or human beings have a mold. And then you have the breath, the process allowing for you to take in the elements and excrete the elements. You see, that allows for you to breathe. And there's a spark of life. How do you know there's a spark of life? Because anytime somebody drowns and they have to withdraw the mold or the body and pull it onto the beach and use a defibrillator to bring them back, there's an electrical surge or charge that they send, and it brings the person back to life. That electricity is equivalent to the spark of life that takes place during the orgasm and after the egg is penetrated by the sperm cell. You see, you're speaking about electrical energy there. It's not nothing spooky. The more you learn about the science, the more it makes sense. So the point is, you have the word Krishna, that's Sanskrit, Krishna. Krishna is speaking about an attraction of a kind. That's dealing with electromagnetism and magnetism. Okay? An attraction of a kind. Then you have the word Kerest. Okay? Like we had growing up, ancient Egyptian Church of Kerest. Okay? The Church of Kerest is Church of Christ. Kerest is saying Christ. So you have Kerest, you have Christ, you have Christos, you have Christ. You have Cyrus. Then you have Osiris. Oh, you with me so far? Which becomes Osir. All right. So it's speaking about a bloodline of beings. And these bloodlines of beings have the ability to come through and incarnate into the flesh. And they become Elah, which is a god or extraterrestrial being. Mujessada, a being that is a god that has a jesada, of flesh. Is that not what they told you Jesus was? They said he's God in flesh. That's Ilamutajessed. You with me? Or Ilamujesed. Okay, so then anytime you're speaking about the Jesus story, you're speaking about somebody who's an extraterrestrial incarnate. That's what that star was for. You tell me where stars move. And how did Herod and them know he was coming? They didn't see a star. They saw a craft. And they know when them carrier crafts come, they have bodies on them, beings on them that have the ability to come down in a new body, incarnate. That's why they talk about Jesus had the ability to transfigure himself. Oh, you mean use a different body that he has access to? And you just don't understand that yet? All right, go watch the movie Avatar. After they go back into them temples or them laboratories and they change their body back to being humans. After using the Avatar vessel outside of that place where they had that realm where the oxygen is in that building and all of that. You get what I'm explaining to you? So human beings are not aware of these things just yet. But some of us are. And some of us understand it a lot more than what you might be ready to know. So the point is, when you start speaking of the 19 keys, when you start speaking of Al-Quran, when you start speaking of Jibril, who they named 19 keys after, they put Jibril, the messenger, Malak, Al-Malak, Jibril. Malak is a messenger. You call it an angel, angelos. Okay. They have Jibril as his first name, and they have Muhammad, the one who is what? Of the grateful ones, or of those who are worthy of praise. Hamud or Hamed. Okay. Hamid, Mu. Remember the word Mu as the prefix. Muhammad, the one who is worthy of praise, or of praise, or of gratitude. Why is he grateful? Why is he worthy of praise? This is the one they sent as a reminder. So he has the Muhammad as his last name. And you have Jibril as the first name. Jibril is the messenger that brought the Quran as a recitation, or Qur'an, okay, a recitation to the rest of the people, and told Muhammad, Ikra, read, go back and read, study the Torah, study Injil, study these stories that were here, these scriptures that was here, Kitab, study Kitab Allah. The words of the Most High, the scriptures of the Most High. Why? Because if you don't, you'll ignore our signs. They said, don't be the first to ignore these signs and turn away from it. Okay? In all actuality, they wouldn't have been the first regardless, because the people of the ancestry, why you tell them to read it, go and see what happened to your ancestors when they didn't listen. That's what they were telling them. And don't trade in our signs for a fleeting gain. Now, 19 Keys is walking around with the sign as a number that's hidden in El Mudaddid. And El Mudaddid is speaking about the 74th chapter surah of Al-Quran, which is the hidden secret. Go look it up. That which is covered up, concealed. You with me? And over it is 19, surah 74, ayah 32, which means chapter 74, all right, verse 30, actually 30, verse 30 in the Quran, or Al-Quran. It speaks about over it is 19. Over what is 19? They're speaking of a condition. Where will you find about that condition? You read it in Surah 66 verse 6, Surah 6 verse 6. Okay. It is interesting enough, they hide it behind these numbers. That's why I tell you in the book of Revelation chapter 13, they speak about your ability to have wisdom to calculate the number of the beast. All right. Now they done flipped it 1,000,000 times, but you know, there's a sacred behind that beast. They're talking about AI and the computer and the ability for these beings to have a machine that can come out and cause all of these signs and do all of these miracles. You're looking at it now. It's called AI. But it's been around. The moment they started developing the computer, and when they started working with the Invisibility Project, okay, those who operate in the unseen realm started to have the ability to affect what was taking place in the seen realm. That took place in 1943. You'll read about that in Dr. Malachi York's book, Man from Planet Risk. Man from Planet Risk. All right. Risk is R-I-Z-Q. You find that in the TV show, The Man Who Fell to Earth. They talk about the Wizard of Risk. They don't say it like that. They say Wizard of Risk. You see why are they saying that? Because Risk is the planet that Malachi spoke about. Okay, explaining to them more of what Jesus was talking about in the story where he said, I have to go. Go where? How are you going to get there? Jesus didn't have wings. How does he get off the planet? They said a cloud removed him from their sight. Took him up. What do you mean took him up? You mean pulled him into the cloud? Clouds don't do that. However, when we watch these extraterrestrial movies, these UFOs do that. Okay, Jesus arrived on a UFO called a star. He left on a UFO behind a cloud. And they said when he comes back, he's coming with what? Clouds. You don't take clouds from outer space and bring them into the earth plane. Clouds are a natural formation we know about now because we're aware of the water cycle. Aren't we grown-ups? And we know clouds ain't leaving the earth's atmosphere. Now, if your response to my question of how did he leave on a cloud is you're not supposed to lean on your own understanding, then you shouldn't explain anything to me. Because that's coming from your own understanding. From now on, don't talk to me about the Bible. If there's one question that I'm going to ask you and you can't answer it and you say, we don't know how God thinks, you shouldn't speak for the Most High at all. I don't care what.
Being free is.
You with me? You dealing with a bomb. I mean, we come with 1,000,000 analogies for what I'm saying. And you got to cut the cords. You got to cut the red one, the green one, or the yellow one. And you ask the person that's supposed to be in your ear helping you through, all right, which one do I cut? Cut the blue one. Matter of fact, the red one. Oh, shit, the yellow one. Maybe the green. Why are you talking to me? You don't understand things. You should stand down. I want to talk to El Messiah. How Moses was able to talk to God in the burning bush, or the angel messenger of the Lord, or Melech. All right. It's like saying angel twice. The angel of the Lord is like Melech Melech, or Melech Melech. Okay. Either way, I need to talk to them. I don't need to be talking to y'all. Tell 19 Keys, the one who he's whoever he's claiming to be, tell him you don't need to talk to him. You want to talk to Jibril, because he's coming from a religion where there are angels who bring messages. So we don't need to talk to Jibril. We need to talk to the Malik, El Malik, okay, Jibril, not the 19 Keys human version. We want to talk to the one who brought Muhammad the scriptures, who brought Muhammad the news. You see that? The moment you start thinking like that, you start realizing, wait a minute, all this stuff is smoke and mirrors. You believe in angels? Yeah. Oh, the angels you believe in come and deal with human beings? Yeah. Do they deal with you? No. Okay, when are you down here with us? We need to talk to whoever deals with them. You see? Because you can't help us. The same book that 19 Keys done built his whole business on top of talks about a judgment day, an end of time, Yom-ud-Din. It also talks about a day of resurrection, Yom Kiyama. Okay, Kayum, Kawum, get up, stand up. Stop laying down. Stop with your prostration. You prostrated long enough, stand up. Because when it's time for you to walk, you can't walk with your head on the ground. There's a whole lot of science that people don't know about. When are you going to stand upright? You've already been prostrating. Okay? Are you going to submit or come up under the mitt or the might or the hand of whoever got you up under there? Or are you going to summit, okay, which is like summit, be silent and walk to the top of the mountain? Your book tells us that this thing ends. How are you preparing people for the end when all you talking about is money and banking? You sound like one of Iblis's soldiers, the one who makes the evil fair seeming. The one who makes becoming a part of their world, which would be a very evil thing, wouldn't it be? Joining their system. You say, okay, come on, y'all, we got to do this. We don't want to be left behind. Left behind, I thought left behind meant Allah abandons you, not the world abandons you. You see that? Are you going to denounce your religion? Think about what I'm explaining to you. They want to keep their religion because that's the main business. He built a business off of this. He built a business off of NOI, a business off of Elijah Muhammad. He thinks he's Elijah Muhammad. Family, Elijah Muhammad talked about the will. Even the minister is speaking about the will and what's going on with extraterrestrials right now. Did anybody have any stories from these people about how they were on the crafts talking? Ain't no way you're going to be on the craft talking, because you get on that craft and talk, you're going to come back down and you're going to tell me that your message is now to tell us to sign up for metaverse? No, they put you here to waste time. They put you here to make people think this is what consciousness looks like. That's not what consciousness looks like. That's not what being in tune with extraterrestrial people looks like. No, that looks like you're playing with time. And we were taught the opposite. Don't play with time. And don't trade these signs in for a fleeting gain. Now, anybody that knows money, and I know money, anybody that knows money, money is a fleeting gain. It does not stay around. And even if you save it, as the cost of living shifts, its value depreciates. Money is a fleeting gain. You're going to get it, and then they tax you on it. Then you're going to use it, they'll tax you on that. People ready to hit the lotto. You got to hit so much of a lotto, because after they done taxing you, like, did I hit the lotto? Right? After you hit the lotto, it hit you back. You didn't know that was going to happen. You weren't ready. And then they're going to tax you on everything you're doing from then on. What's the gain here? And then you got all this money, you get to buy stuff. They say, no, we got to invest. Invest where? You see, most of the time the invest is just the dress up. You know, the vest deals with dressing, the clothes. It's just dress up. What are you investing in? It's all y'all with all this money. Y'all ain't got the land to build the community yet? You don't know how to buy land? It's not hard to buy land. You ain't built the community yet? You see what I'm explaining to you? So all of these things are games. That's it. And I'm saying, if it's not, tell them to prove me wrong. I don't get no clout off no nigga having no conversation with me. You can't give me clout. I'm saying, tell them prove me wrong. Prove what I'm saying wrong. His name is 19 Keys in y'all eyes. It's not even a name. It's a title that has something to do with Islam. Tell the truth. That's not higher level. There's not a single Muslim that if I went in that paint with them, they'll be able to rise above me in the things they're talking about. when I deal with a Muslim, I have to deal with a Muslim as you deal with a Muslim. When I deal with a Christian, you've seen this. We got to get on here. We got to talk about the Bible. After a while, my attention span, with tolerance, it go down because they start thinking that belief means no. And I have to say, okay, all right, we're done with the Bible part. Now let me ask you some questions about what you actually know. And then that's when the conversation gets shorter. Well, can I use the Bible? You can't use the Bible now because that doesn't mean you know it. That means you read a book and you believe that. That's my point. Now you debated what you believe. I heard you out. Now I need to ask you some questions about what you actually know. You can't use the Bible. What do you actually know? Now you believe it? Okay, that's a different thing. That's not higher level. That's not higher level. What's higher level is what do you know? You will know the truth and the truth will make you free. Higher level is that eye on top of the pyramid. You cannot get to the eye on top of the pyramid if you are still up under the 13 levels. All Masons should understand this, even though most Masons are under the 13 levels. They don't know it. You're talking about walking up Jacob's ladder. Tell them what Jacob's ladder is. Tell them what Jacob's ladder is. It's the letter G. Tell them what Jacob's ladder is. The G for gene, G-E-N-E. You see that twisting double helix, that spiral that winds and twists about? Okay, that's Jacob's ladder. Jacob, Yisrael. It's a ladder or a bloodline that's supposed to tie you back to some figure that they say is supposed to be the father of the nations of the 12 tribes. Not Abraham, don't get it misconstrued, but the 12 tribes. Okay, all of this stuff still ties back to religion. When did you surpass it? What's higher level? I'm not going to say anything I'm telling you, they ain't going to be able to debate it. That's because it's the truth. And then a lot of these people ain't even Masons, so what are you going to be able to say? They said I was an agent because I became a Mason at 16. I say, no. You don't understand how advanced I was at that age. I was able to infiltrate Masonry. I went in and found out for myself what it was. And now I can talk about it. They can't do nothing to me. You see, a lot of people accepted the penalty or the clause that they can't speak. Or you got to be quiet or you got to get your throat slit and all that stuff. I know how to keep a secret. That don't mean I got to. I tell people whatever I want to tell them. And if I say, listen, it's important for y'all to know that people like 19 Keys will place in front of you to cause you to waste time. You don't have to listen to me. Listen, you can still go get your information from them. You can still sit up there and take their courses or whatever they teaching you. You can do all of that. I'm not telling you to hate these people or anything. I'm saying they stay away from phase 1 for a reason. Because they hear how I speak and that my speak doesn't slow down, by the way. I only get better with time. So my ability to deliberate and delineate on things and expound and all of that, it gets better with time. The things I can speak on, I'm constantly learning always. So it doesn't stop. It don't slow down. These people get comfortable in the pocket of the universe they exist in, and they're not able to reach out. You see what I'm explaining to you? And the reason why they're not able to reach out is because they refuse to identify who and acknowledge who the source of all of this is. They refuse to acknowledge it. Meaning the movement that's taking place out here. So all you conscious community people, I'm telling you, not to be up under Malachi worshiping him. He never wanted that. Not to be just following and believing behind what he never wanted that. I'm saying if you want to figure out where all of this is going before it's too late, Malachi York. Malachi York. You want to know why I'm telling you that? Because it's a code name. Malachi. Okay? Now, say it how the language says it. Melech. Malachi. E. My Melech. My Malach. Malachi. My messenger. The messenger sent to you if you receive him. I came to my own received him not. So he's not your messenger if you don't receive him. Do you get me? Malachi, the messenger, my messenger who brings me what? Zodok. Malachi, Z York. Z stands for Zodok. Zodok. So if I say Malachi, Zodok, I'm saying the messenger of mine who brings me the message of what? Zodok. Righteousness, the truth. My messenger of righteousness, my messenger of truth. We have one in this time period. My messenger of balance and order, Malachi, Zodok. York, Yariku, Yarak, Yaruk. What is Yaruk? Yaruk means green. Green, go look it up. So if I say Malachi Zodok, Yaruk, I'm saying the messenger of mine that brings me righteousness, the message of righteousness, that brings me balance, the message of balance, that brings me order and truth, the message of order and truth. The green one, that's El Khidr. And go look up El Khidr, Khidr. Alkhidr, a Khidr. And El Khidr is the green one. You with me? And you'll see Malachi, Zodok, Yark, surrounded by green light in his images. Well, you say, what's this green light stuff about? Go look up the images of Malachi Z. York, and you will see him surrounded by the green light. Okay. And you'll see these interstellar comments they talking about, say, oh, look at this green light. Are you listening? Then you'll see the Meteor Man movie, and it's all about the green light. Hope you're paying attention. The green light. Not everybody gets to see it because people are caught up in Moses, the red light. Moses is the red world. El Khidr is the green world. And there's a place where the two seas meet. Where is that place? I'm going to tell you where. Nobody else can tell you. I'll tell you where the two seas meet at. The two seas meet at the point in time, the coordinate in the space-time continuum where you hear the name Malachi Zodok. When you hear the name, that's where the two seas meet. And you're at what's referred to as a crossroad. All right. And at that crossroad, you got a decision to make. So all of y'all who hear the name and you think it's just a name, go ahead. Nobody's forcing anybody. You trying to figure out how we can sit on here. We come on here damn near every day and we'll be on here for hours and hours and hours and hours. And if Instagram didn't do that 4-hour thing, y'all know I'm doing 24 hours on here. Why? Because it just streams and it streams and it streams and it streams because it's urgent. And why would I run out of urgency to explain something to you this urgent? The energy is there. You with me? But they're not doing that. What are they doing? They come and they talk to you. All right, money, currency. Oh, by the way, something about God. And then they dip because you paid them. And then they come back after they spend the money. Be like, oh yeah, again, money. We got it. Did I mention we got it? Oh, something about God. They're appealing to that lower version of you that believed in God, not knew who God was. So that's in your genes. So anytime it's about God and the high, all the other stuff, they just appealing to that side. Then the money and all the other stuff, it's the business side. They know that people want to come out of poverty. So their demographic is people who they think are struggling. They don't go out there in the rich people community talking about some we got it. They want to talk to people who they think are struggling. They think the conscious community is struggling. And the conscious community doesn't have to struggle, or suffer is another word. They don't have to suffer in that way the moment they start letting go of the wants or the desire for the pleasantries of this world. Stop trying to be them. You're not bobbing them. Stop trying to be them. You see? When you stop attempting to be them, you will realize you're not suffering for real. You have everything you need. How many people you got a home? Even if you don't have a home, how many people you had some food to eat, right? You had some water to drink, and you didn't freeze to death. What else do you need now? What do you want? Really? Because not even what you need. Now, what do you want? I want a Jaguar. I want a Jag, or I want some Versace, or I want to live in a big house. You see, and it becomes that, so that people are chasing that, and they know people are chasing that because they think God's supposed to live in big houses and stuff. They're missing the one part about Jesus. What was Jesus' big house? Everybody bring up this character nobody knows or pays attention to how he actually lived. He was homeless. He was on the move. But he had something to say. Hope you listening. He wasn't no rich person. They called him King of Kings. What you mean you can't be a god or a king if you ain't rich? That sounds like Mammon's teaching. We know the works of Hasatan and them. That's Mammon's teaching. Money never made you rich. As a matter of fact, money made you debtor. You got in debt. They call it dead notes. You got in debt or you got in the grave and you became debtor. It didn't bring you to life. That's their God, not ours. And man cannot what? Serve two masters. And so the hidden secret, 19 keys. He does not possess the 19 keys. So you must know that 19 keys is a sign. He and his whole program is a sign. There are numbers. So when he saw, oh shit, phase 1 is coming. He knew what was happening. He heard that sling. It was a sword. He heard when I withdrew it and he blocked me. He said, oh shit. So he tells everybody else, oh, you got to stay away from the negativity. What do you mean stay away from the negativity? Is he a small person in the algorithm or is he a big person in the algorithm? You know the answer to that. He ain't nothing small. His voice ain't small. What he brings isn't small. His music isn't small. You notice all these people trying to be rappers. You know what I mean? What's the 19 Keys song? Exactly. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you that this is what it is. There's a war taking place and the artists are fighting. So when you see these people fleeing, make no mistake about it. I have 700, 800, 900, 1 million followers. They'll still say, oh, we don't got to respond to him. He ain't worthy to respond to. Who is he that you talk about? Man, don't say his name. Y'all hear me? Because it's like that every time. So then we'll end up being in your world and you don't know we're in your world. Not because there was no way you could know, but because they did everything they power to keep it under wraps. Same story. Same story. Any questions? Yeah, they don't have the keys. They know they don't got the keys. There are things I can bring up and talk to y'all about. They have absolutely no idea about those things. So why they capping? Jibril, stand in your place. Tell the people what's real. You are a Muslim. You have not higher leveled anything. You cannot higher level anything. You are under the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. You didn't walk when it was time to walk with the Lamb. You are left behind. So anybody following you is left behind. Say phase one. How are you able to get on these lives and just talking? Break this down, break that down. How you, when we get on the Hindu conversation, you able to break that down. When we get on the Muslim conversation, you able to break that down. Christian, you able to break that down. History, break that down. Sociology, you able to break that down. Politics, you able to break that down. Oh, I walk with the Lamb. That's why. My master teacher is the master teacher of all time. That's why. So any devil telling you we don't need master teachers, tell them to shut the fuck up and stop teaching then. Because how is 19 Keys saying we don't need master teachers, all the while he's sitting there sipping tea with them niggas trying to teach some shit? So what you, okay, you are not master teacher. We don't need not master teachers either. How the fuck we gonna not need a master teacher and we need a little teacher? You get what I'm saying? None of these niggas make sense. The only reason why he said that was why? Was because I was calling it out, saying y'all better stop playing. We running out of time. All y'all talking about 2030, I'll go and get Dr. Malachi York book he wrote before I was born. I'm born in 1998. The 2030 thing is Malachi York. Everything y'all nigga, you can't go nowhere without, I'll go and pull it up right now. 2030 is from Malachi York. It's in the Holy Tablets. He said that by the year 2030, all of this stuff was going to pan out. He was explaining about the vortexes that was opening and all this other stuff. He told people about the August 12th and all this stuff they just say, oh, it's just meteorites. It's comments. Now they talking about it. Oh, there's a meteorite shower coming. And nobody knows to pay attention to it, but he already put it in the books. June 26th. He put it in the books. You see that? So now they out here talking about Agenda 2030. All right, what's your agenda? What agenda do they have? They always talking about somebody else's agenda. They always talking about New World Order. What's your world order? When are you going to bring yours forth? They don't have the ability to do it. So that's what I'm saying. Don't follow them, but you can do what you want to do. I advise, don't follow them. They can't take you anywhere. Or tell me where they took you. You've been listening to 19 Keys and all you do is keep getting feel-good pills popped in your drink. What's this? Oh, this is gold water. Okay. What I'm supposed to do? Just drink it. Okay, I drank it. Now what do I do? Just feel golden. Niggas start doing a little shoulder dance. Feel golden. Shut your ass up. Ain't all these niggas been drinking that shit. Ain't nothing. One nigga turned gold. I seen a 10, man. What happened to you? They gave me the wrong formula. Yo, take your heartless ass home. Trying to tell you something. No disrespect to Pill and them. I fuck with them niggas. I'm just telling you. Y'all let these niggas put sparkly gold in your water. Y'all say yes. And then it's like, all right, now what happens? That's not liquid gold. Malachi explains what liquid gold is. Nigga, liquid gold is the blood of those incarnates. That's what it is. It's the blood of the incarnates. The gold blood, go watch the movie Gods of Egypt. That's liquid gold. The gods bleed gold. What are you talking? It's the DNA of the golden children. Go watch the movie Golden Child. I'm giving you the answers. Even if you don't have the doctrine in your hand, you go watch these movies because they read the doctrine and they put it in the movies. Go watch the movie Gods of Egypt and go watch the movie Golden Child with Eddie Murphy. These put sparkles. Tell me how that's different than when they said you got the reindeer food and they gave you oatmeal with the glitter in it. Tell me how it's different. Tell me how it's different. And you know you wanted to eat that shit as a child. So some of y'all still acting like that. Oh, it's minerals. You know what I'm saying? So look, if you want to be sell or sold a product, then go ahead, follow them. But that's all that's coming out of that. You see, it's all that coming out. Most of the people they gather, you know how, listen, you know what, they wasted that. They gathered all of those people on Stone Mountain, and it was like, ready, set, go. Atlantis. These people have no idea what to do. You get all those people on the mountain, and you don't understand that, listen, I ain't going to keep giving these people the answers, because then they're going to try to do it, and they're going to fuck it up, because they never had the right intention. How many brothers were there when we gathered? Just listen, we gathered out in the backyard of what I call the land, right? By the shed. Y'all remember that? All the brothers that was there, SBI. It had to be about 30 of y'all. It was a lot of y'all. How many brothers was there? Like 30-some brothers that was right there in that spot? Okay, what happened? I said, are y'all ready? And y'all did the tones. We already talked about it, y'all. I said, hold on. And nobody was speaking. So I had to show y'all different pieces at different points. You stand here. You're on the lower bass. You're on a lower octave. You stand here. You're on a higher octave. You're one of the black keys. You need to be right here. You need to be right. And then by the time we didn't move until we got it perfect. Until the pitch, they call it picture perfect, till the pitch was perfect. When we got it pitch perfect, then it was like, okay, now we was out there for about an hour until we was able to get everybody on one accord. Chord is music. They had people saying, Atlantis. Like, you just missed the opportunity to catch the attention of those who oversee, catch the attention of those who watch. You just made noise. That was what they call dissonance. It wasn't smooth and pitch perfect. And it took a little time, but they did get it. You see what I'm explaining to you? So why would you waste that? All the people gathered in, all y'all could tell me is Atlantis, and now what? You see? And then everybody walked off. Everybody was up there to be fans. They want to take pictures and talk. I did with their tongue. Like, yo, listen, y'all are wasting time. Y'all don't know what's happening. These governments ain't going to slow down. They got 2 projects they working on. Destroy Earth, leave Earth. Those are the only 2 projects they really focus on right now. Right? They making sure they can try to fuck this up just in case they can't go. And they know that it's finna fall. So they're trying to get out of here. That's what's happening right now. They unleashing AI on you. That's what's happening right now. And watching people integrate themselves into the computer. That's what's happening. It's all a game. So 19 AI. Remember, AI is to be destroyed anyway. That's another story. And everybody walking around with these contracts talking about some I am robot. I am robot. I robot. You see that? Merging themselves into that illusionary realm. It's not real. So you can follow them. You have the right to follow them. But all you're going to get is products. If you want progress, I wouldn't even say follow Malachi. I say find Malachi. Meaning you will be making yourself findable by not just Malachi, Yanun is a tone that you need to be familiar with. You don't have to believe me. That's the beautiful part about it. Because I know if I were a lot of y'all, a lot of this stuff would probably sound crazy to me too. What do you mean a green light came when you on 12 a.m. of June 26th? What do you mean that happened? Yeah, it happened. It shined in the sky for 3 seconds. I'm not lying. 3 seconds it came. Woo, 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 woo. That was the sound it made. And it was already flashing green, and I had witnesses. And as soon as it happened, I got on live, and the witnesses were talking about what happened. And they syncing up with what they saying. You see what I'm explaining to you? So, and then some of y'all on different sides of the world saw it. Somebody hit me up like, yo, man, I called the word Yanu and the whole sky lit up green. Okay, it's okay. That's the higher level. Red isn't higher. Amber isn't higher. The 5-pointed star isn't higher. Is lower. You get what I'm explaining to you. So look, even when I showed y'all the levels of the pyramid, and everybody say there are 13 levels on the pyramid, I said, no, they're not. There are 14. They forget the capstone. But they're not taught to count it. I was taught to count it. You see, they call the capstone what? The eye, listen, of providence. Right there in the word providence, you got the key word or root word as they call it. What's the key word? The key word is provide. Providence. The EOP, the eye of providence, brings you to the word risk. Risk. And risk means to provide. Rizq. Something that is provided. And so, like I said, now I go and prepare a place for you. In my Father's home, there are many mansions. Okay? Many mansions saying different places, different parts, different galaxies in my Father's home. Beyond just the stars, going beyond the stars. You see that? Y'all don't know how long these people have had advanced technology. If you think heaven is in the sky, something's wrong. They would have been invaded the heavens if it was just in the sky. No, it's not in the sky. It's across the galaxies. And you travel through different portals or gates, according to what's been written. And one of those gates opens up every now and then. And that one gate is what that eye is pointed to. The eye of risk. Are you listening? They can't hear me. I'm going to say it one more time. The eye on the pyramid is pointing toward the gate that leads up out of here. Osiris, Usir, or Asaru, these beings are over it. You see? Osiris, Usir, Asar. However you want to say it, Asaru. That's the over what? Seer. Okay, so what is the level that exists above the 13 levels? An eye level. All right, which is where you have the overseer. You want to know what the overseer word translates to? It translates to Nejer or Nathar. Okay, overseers, Natharu, Nateru. You hear it? And Neter are the gods. So God Osiris, God, Almighty God, however you want to say it, that's how you get out of here. Go read the book of Genesis. I think that was Genesis chapter 10, verse 28. If I'm not mistaken, or was it 12? What was it? That's it. 12 verse. Let's see. What? Because it equaled up to 13. So I think it's 10 verse 28. Or what was it? 12 verse 28. Yep. It was 12 verse 28. I had to think. So the book of Genesis chapter 12 verse 28, if I'm not mistaken, you go and read that. And if not, it's 28:12. Sometimes I get it mixed up. But it was speaking about those ladders that was set up on the planet. And there were angels descending onto the planet, okay, and ascending off of the planet using that ladder. That ladder is the pyramid. Do you understand? And again, the steps on the pyramid leading up to Yakub or Jacob, all right, is linked into that link that you're linked in with. It's called your gene. You understand that? So how do you get out of here? Through your genes. That's why Wusabat Wunuwap is a genetic doctrine. Some people will hear our voice and know our voice. Some people won't. They'll be like, who the fuck is that? They say, my sheep know my voice. Those who don't, they just stray away. How are you going to hear it? It's not even genetically programmed for you to be able to hear it. You won't be able to. You see, remember that your genes express. You're not just dealing with a gene that you have. And thank you for that, for the person who put it in there. I see 2812. Appreciate that, Mike. Right? Your genes don't just sit still. They express. They regulate. All right? They branch out. They unravel. So if you were birthed into a Christian household, all right, and you had prayer warriors in your family and somebody named Jesus, and they say they want to thank Jesus, you will feel certain ways that the person who wasn't raised that way won't be able to feel. Do you get what I'm explaining to you? All right. So let me show you how this goes. All right, I'm just going to talk. We hid the sacreds in all of the religions. And so when you went through certain religions, you caught on to certain sacreds based off of what genes you had already. You with me? So some of y'all have Muslim ancestors. Some of y'all have Christian ancestors. Some of y'all have atheist ancestors, scientist ancestors, African spirituality ancestors. You see what I'm saying? Different ancestors you have, or immediate family that you have, or spirits that you have, as Malachi explains, operating within you. So when we touch different crafts, or when we touch different religions, various religions, what tends to happen is parts of you will activate because you say, I get what this is. How many of y'all ever done that? Watch the movie Infinite. What you'll learn is that infinity symbol is the genetic symbol. You see what I'm explaining to you? Now go and watch the movie Infinite and see how they were able to reincarnate. And they had different gifts. And they would realize earlier on in their life that they just knew how to do certain things. Stay with me. How many of y'all just touched the Bible and like, I get it? How many of y'all read the Quran and was like, I get this? How many of y'all read the doctrine? It was like, this makes sense. I'm not just saying, oh, like you got amazed or became intrigued or enamored with the atmosphere. I'm saying you touch and say, I get this. I understand what this is. How many people, second nature, you just knew how to sing? How many people came through here and just, like myself, somehow, for some reason, I just knew how to rap? How many people touch certain things is like this, I had this before. All right. So Islam can only take you back but so far. Because Islam is newer. Stay with me because it's coming through right now. I shout it out to Dante. All right. Islam can only take you back but so far because it's not but so new. All right. Christianity can only take you back but so far it's new. You with me? Judaism can only take you back but so far it's new. Hinduism can only take you back but so far it's new. Even if you say, oh, this 15,000 years. 15,000 years is new. Now, you have Nuwapu. Nuwapu took you straight to the origin. It didn't pass go. It didn't collect $200. It's straight to the origin. Origin, the light of your gene. Light is information. And it goes right into your genes. And it causes the genetic unraveling to take place. That caduceus that y'all speak about, caduceus. That kundalini that people speak about, kundalini. That connection to that spirit that people are speaking about, or that God that people are speaking about, Nuwapu opens it right up. Okay? And it happens when you're spoken to. Even when that inner voice is activated. Look at what I'm explaining to you. Nu. Nu means what? The primordial waters. What's primordial water mean? It's like Tehom, or the original deep. Prime order, primordial. Prime order, the order that was here originally. Your highest gene, meaning the farthest back you can reach. Because that's all human beings have is information unraveling itself, or you're not existing. None of this is spookism. You understand that? That as far back as you could think that you existed as human beings, there had to be information unraveling in order for that to take place. Even from the sperm cell blueprint of male and female, all right, and the egg. You have that entry that allows for cultivation in the womb, that same blueprint that allows for you to grow the fetus and become a cultivated human being or baby or body, infant, toddler, child, adolescent, teenager, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to call it, adult, elder. You see? And then you travel back into or dissipate as the flesh into the realm through worms and decomposition and things like that. It's still a cycle of life. They call it the circle of life. But the point is, that's the blueprint. That's what allows for it to take place. And how does the gene keep going? It's through the blood. All right. So watch this. How do they say you'll be saved? Listen. They say through the blood of Jesus. Do you know what that means? Because they've been saying it, but do they really understand it? The blood of Jesus. Okay, it don't matter how long you sit there and say Jesus, 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 and you talking to a devil. The blood of Jesus is not the blood of the devil. The bloodline of the woman is not the bloodline of the serpent. Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, 3:15. Stay with me if you can. So you can sit there and bash somebody on top of the head with right knowledge. right wisdom, right understanding. Say, get right, get right, get right, get right. You can beat them in, it don't matter how you do it. And that's why it won't work anyway, because they're eventually going to reject you. They're going to resent you. You see? They're going to resent you. Look at the word resent. They're going to send you back. Resend. They're going to resend everything you attempted to tell them. Resend it. Return to sender. And that's the, you'll be saying, listen, now I have to go overstand. The masters know that. Every master overstands. You can't stay long. But you can. And then eventually you got to dodge the stones because they're going to throw them. Why? Because after you done attempted to weed out whoever the elect are, so be it that they are not consumed by the illusionary realm and its demons, then those demons are going to activate eventually when they come after you, right? He said they're not going to show no mercy. You see? And they have their time. They're gearing up now. They're doing everything in their power to get ready to gear up now to attack any of the ones who's supposed to be the remaining elect. Nuwapu, the only way out. And other people may not find it. So you say that to them, say, what does that mean? You can break it down a million ways. I tell you, the primordial waters, the order. In the beginning was the water, the order, the water, the order. Listen, the matter, the word, water, word, R-O or W-O-R-D, word, watered. In the beginning was the word. In the beginning was the water. In the beginning was the metu, okay, which is the speech. In the beginning was the meta, okay, who, met who, all right? In the beginning was the word. In the beginning was the water. In the beginning was the nu, okay? In the beginning was the nun. So you say nu or nun, all right? That's dealing with the primordial waters. Some people call it the primeval waters. You can see the word Eve in there, all right? In the beginning was the nu, wa upu, nu wa upe, nu wa upu, nu wa upe. Saying what? The water, mouth, upe, mouth. Y'all with me? Nu pu, nu upe. So mouth is like speaking or the speech, and water. You with me? The original, origin. So if I say your origin is the water, am I lying? Or does science say that? Oh, Mario, I don't think they hear you. Okay, that's fine. They don't have to. This is only for the ones who can, I guess. Doesn't science say all life comes from water? Doesn't the Bible support that? The book of Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. All right, where they don't say they created the water. They say created the heavens and the earth. All right, and next thing you know, water is there. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the water. When you said the water, the word eretz dealt with land. They never said ma'im. Okay, now they said shemayim. Okay, but that's saying the heavens. They did not say ma'im was formed or created, bara, or yielded into existence. So the water came from nowhere. Now you're just dealing with a separation of the water from the waters. And then they put something called a rekia there. And rekia becomes the firmament, all right, or the atmosphere or the bow that separates the inner planes from the outer planes. Okay, we have a magnetosphere. Thanks for letting me know that. And there are troposphere, isosphere, all these are the atmospheres that allow for us to exist how we exist in the earth plane without the outside water, the unbreathable air coming into the land. All right, so then there was a system set up. That makes sense. However, you still didn't create the water in the story. The water was already there. In the beginning was the word. In the beginning was the water. Are you with me? All right, so you can only really understand this or meet at this point, this origin, which is the crossroad. Go and look up the XY axis grid. All right. That 0 point or coordinate is referred to as the origin point. All right. The word or is dealing with light. Okay. E at the end of or becomes my light. The gene that is my light, my information. Okay, it's about you at that point. Stay with me. That's referred to as the origin. That's the 0 or the sephir. All right, they call it a sephirat, your family tree. If you don't know that, sephirat, which is speaking about like that tree, the activation of the tree. You go look that up. Everybody has that origin point when you receive this information, and it has to come from the mouth of he who is activated. He who is activated, or she who is activated. So this becomes a science that is only passed on through the word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth. Are you with me? In the beginning was the word of what? The word would have had to been uttered. So utterance becomes who in the ancient Egyptian science. Who? Who? Meaning who? No, who as in who? H-U. Who? Are you with me? So then there's a translation of the word huwa, where you say Yahweh. You mean Yahuwah. That's what you're attempting to say. Yahuwah. Oh, Hua. Yah means oh, Hua. Oh, Hua. Hua. All right. Right there in the middle of Yahuwah, you have who. Okay. The same way right in the middle of the Yeshua, you have shu. Shu, who. Shu is like saying breath, vitality. Okay. Some of y'all call it ki in certain schools or chi. Okay. So shu is like saying breath. The book of Genesis chapter 2 verse 7, like I explained, I breathe into man my spirit, ruach. Okay. And he becomes or became a living soul, which gives you Eve or Hawa. Go look it up. So when you say Yahweh, all right, Yahuwah, okay, you're speaking of a breathing occurrence that allows for somebody to connect with whatever that information is coming through. This is why in the book, the Bible, you hear about in the book of Luke, where Jesus returns after he had, quote unquote, passed away from crossing over what was fiction, crucifixion, the crossroad. He was on the crossroad and gave up his ghost. He let that spookism shit go. And the next thing you know, listen to what I'm explaining to you. He's walking in the upper room, the frontal lobe, as opposed to the basal ganglia, the limbic system, the limbus, teetering on the edge of hell, which is what a lot of people are doing because they play with time. He ended up in the upper room dealing with and talking to those who had the discipline. They're called disciples. It's hidden in the word. And he breathed on them. You think that means he walked in the room and was like, no, the breathing of the spirit means I'm going to impart unto you all of the sacreds and what this means, because y'all are initiates and you have to go out and do the same thing. You're now their last hope, just as I was your last hope. Right? Now I have to depart from you. However, I'll be back. Okay? Now, I'm also sending someone through as an aid to you, and he will be referred to as, or it will be referred to as, the Comforter, or the Spirit of Truth. Emet, the truth. Stay with me. The Spirit of Truth will not glorify himself. He will glorify Isa's name. Do you hear me? He will tell everybody about who Isa is. And that truth spirit is supposed to comfort who? Only those who are of that breath, or of that spiritus, or of that Gazuth, or of that bloodline. My sheep, lamb, know my voice. And if you don't know my voice, my truth that I speak, meaning the truth I carry, that I speak, the truth that I utter, the breathing that I impart will make you uncomfortable. Do you understand? So then there will be a separation. Say, all right, step forth. You ready? How you feel? I feel uncomfortable as hell. All right, you go to the left. All right, next. You ready? How do you feel? I feel pretty comfortable. All right, go to the right. And we separate those who belong to Helal, or the moon cycle, the dark ones, Azazillah, his bloodline. We separate you. You go over here to the left and you go rest. And those who are of the golden children, pay attention because it won't fade. Those of you who are of the golden children, the bloodline of hard, who have that hard one gene activated, you were given the opportunity to save your bloodline and all the spirits that came with you. Spirits meaning what? Ancestors that live through you in your blood. You're given an opportunity to correct your bloodline right now. That means you're reaching forward and backward into who and what you are. Oh, how do you feel? I feel comfortable. I feel encouraged. I feel motivated. I don't feel hateful. My countenance is rising, not falling. Oh, okay. You go to the right over here with the lambs, the sheep, and we will see you at 1:44. We will see you at 9 p.m. You see that? And those who got left behind, they got left at the 6th hour. Those who reached up on top of the pyramid, where you see my album cover, what was it entitled? Ninth Pyramid, with my arms stretched out like the cross. If you show most of these mainstream Christians that image, they'll say you're mocking Jesus. Okay? They won't deal with the fact that they're walking around with him dead on their neck. They won't deal with that. They'll say, that seems like you're mocking him. No, I just want to remember that he died. Why wouldn't you get a statue or an image? First of all, if you say he's God, you shouldn't have an image of him at all. Do I need to continue? If you're saying he's God, you shouldn't have an image of him at all, because they told you in your book not to do that. But if you're going to deal with an image of the Most High or God incarnate into a human being, why would you use the image of him being dead? Why not use the image of him alive? You couldn't think of anything else? And then that image is a false image, because how is that him? There are no pictures in the Bible. Somebody made that image up. So if you see me stretching up my arm, I'm aligning to something you may not be aware about. Nobody can tell you about other than right now and right here. So I'll tell you. It's called the spirit of the bird, or the school of the bird. Remember when you would your arms out and you started to flap your wings? Okay, that's the school of the cross, because the word that they use, staros, is not a mystic tau symbol. It is not a T. So you would not have seen Jesus on no cross. Okay, like no letter T. It would have been a pole, right up and down, erect, raise, erection, rise, erection. Okay, the sundial, that's rise, erection. Okay, and rise, erection reminds you about the time, the 9th hour. The 9th hour is the re, erection, raised, resurrection, rose, erection, rosicrucian, crucifixion, rose, he crossed, rose up across. Ghost gave up. He rose up the cross, and then he rose again. 1, 2, 3 days. 1, 2, 3 degrees. 1, 2, 3 grades. Listen, 3 times 3, 9. Okay? 9, 9, 9. 9 as a power tower of 3, which is 9 times 9 to the 9th power of 9, or 9 to the 9th power of 9. Okay? 9, 9, 9, as people be explaining about. This is something that you have to calculate to figure out what is actually being said. So the school of the bird is an allusion to, or an homage being paid to who? The one called Harut, Horus. Why? Because that's the one who is rising, horizon. And on the horizon, you will see Haru or Heru or Horus walking on the water, and he rises up in the east. Okay? So when you see the cross, it's speaking about that plane that allows for you to see the water and what's above it, and who comes out of that water, the birth that takes place every day. All right. The rebirth, rather, that takes place every day, where Horus rises up. Horizon. Okay. Har is a word or name for the Egyptian version, if you would call it, Jesus El Messiah, all right, or the Messiah, HaMashiach. Now, I'm not saying Horus is Jesus, because that's just not the truth. It's not the same thing. You got different images that became it. I'm just saying, when you're saying Horus, that's Jesus' story. When you're saying Jesus, that's Horus' story. Which came first? According to history, the story of Horus came first. So they got it from Horus. But now you say Jesus. But it wasn't Jesus at first. It was Yeshua. Okay? Yeshua. Or Yeshu. Why were they calling him Yeshu? They said why. They called him Yeshu because he was supposed to be a rescuer of his people. What does this mean? Har comes down to get people, and then people leave through him. But if they're not ready, they can't go. You see? The same with multiple beings that do that. Tahuti, they have the ability to open up gates and come through and say, listen, here go your instructions. This is how you get out of here. The basic instructions before leaving Earth. Bible, here you go. What else you need? All right, you need something else. You need to know a queue so you can figure out where you're running to. Here go your queue run. Because you're lost right now, and we have to remind you so that you can be found. So remember what the Quran was supposed to be about, a reminder. We have to cue you on, Quran. If we don't, you'll be lost again. Don't ignore these signs. How do you know Allah ties to Tahuti? Because they say that Allah uses the pen to write. And so does Tahuti. All right. And Allah allows for people to find their way out of the darkness into the light. Okay. So does Tahuti. Tahuti. Thoughts. Tahuti. Tahu. Teo. Okay. The opener by way of what he speaks onto God, or T meaning life. Look at what I'm explaining to you, because in the Quran, the first chapter is referred to as Fatiha. Fatu, meaning to open. Fatiha. Pata, meaning to open. You see, so he opens, the opener of the way, which means he has the key. Fatiha also means a key. So in Al-Quran, there's the number 19 as a secret. Okay. Over it is 19. And that world that they're talking about that they're over is called hell, or Jahannam, or the realm of deficiency, or the realm of amber light, red. Okay. Is a code word for red, amber. So on the scale, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. All right. Right there in the center, you see green. And under there, you have that yellow and that orange and that red, which is still speaking about the lower vibratory realms. So all these people talking about lower vibrations, that ain't nothing spiritual. That's reality. That's dealing with science, or what's referred to as the nanometers. Look at the word nanar. Okay, nanar is the devil, if you want to say it that way. Okay, nanometers. Want to know another science of the word nanometer? If I give you a fish and I tell you to go, or I tell you to go meet El-Kidr at a point, which is the green, all right, called the green part, the Mediterranean, all right, not the Red Sea, the Mediterranean, which is connected by that which is called the Suez Canal, or the Zeus channel, the God channel, where the gods meet, okay? Those who are the lower realms and the higher realms, they meet there. If I tell you go and meet El-Kidr and bring a fish with you, the word for fish is nena, or nin. So if I say nin meter, there go another code right there, nanometer. Go and meet this being standing on top of a fish. You go look up at Kidr and you'll see him standing on top of a fish in the water. All right. Wearing green with a staff. And Moses wears red with a staff. And he had to carry a fish to go and get to El Kidr. So you get the story. What does it say? Oh, it says, you don't have the whole story. Go look up the book Where the Two Seas Meet and read it. Go read Surah 18. All right, or chapter 18 of Al-Quran, and read about Kidr, the one who had the wisdom, the green one, if you have the time. So the point being, those who are trapped in the older realms or the lower realms, they can't ascend. All right, especially if they're not able to admit, like Moses was able to see. Because at first he was boastful until the God or the overseer told him, yo, you need to go meet this other master at this part where the two seas meet, the junction of the two Niles, so he can show you you have been led astray if you thinking you're the one who has all the information. And so he went to go do that and took a fish with him. Okay. And when the fish jumped out, he knew, okay, this is where I'm supposed to meet him at. And El-Kidr pulls up on a fish or a nin or a nun. All right. Which is a science that people need to know about. Another sacred for that is the nun letter holds the value of 50. Okay. And 50 is a sacred number of 5 because the 0 doesn't count. So that 5 is there, which is a door opener. Okay. Which is also the letter He. Are y'all with me? So if you say the word nun, okay, you're saying fish. You're also saying water. Yeah, nun. Okay. Those or he, yeah, oh, you who is inert, still be still and do not move. Operating in the unseen realm, still with outside of the space and time that human beings are operating in with a whole different lifespan. Okay. When you're looking for that link, you have to call out, yeah, nun. That link links you from this world as a bridge to another world. Another science you'll find that image in, or a symbol you'll find that image in is, or a symbol you'll find that science in is called Pisces. Go look at the Pisces symbol, and it's a bridge between two worlds, and you'll see it in the stars, where one fish is going in one direction and another fish is going in the other direction. You with me? So that link or that bridge reminds you of who, why. The word who is the utterance, the spoken word. In the beginning was the word. That's your origin point. That's as far back as your genes reach. Your most high is your primordial ancestor. That's your most high. That's the highest up the pedigree you're going to go, or highest up the line age, the line of the age you're in, the lineage. That's the highest up that you're going to go. That's your most high. And then you travel through that gene to get to the origin. And that origin links you. You look at the chain. Look at the chain link. Whatever chain link just popped up in your head, that's a symbol for the gene. You see? So watch. You have the word who, then you have the word why. Why is a word meaning and, to combine something. And if I say this person and that person, or if I say the number 1 and the number 2, or the number 1 and the number 7, I say Wahoo Wasabu. Okay, I'm saying 1 and what? 7. 1 and 7. Wahoo Watasu. 1 and 9. You get what I'm explaining to you? So either way, that's a woo or wah. It's the and word, a pronection saying this is where this links. So who is like saying he, but also saying something that is not defined in gender. You don't know a gender to place on it. It's something that is not understood by human beings completely. So you're attempting to pronect to it, and it goes through your bloodline. In the beginning was the word. They said the word became flesh. They don't know what they're talking about. This is a bloodline thing. So when people say they plead the blood, or we're saved by the blood of Jesus, the blood of the Messiah, blood, 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 the blood will save you. They're not talking about somebody bleeding out on the cross. You get me? Because that's not even the end of the story. He left the planet okay. And Al-Quran says what? That he was not destroyed. He was not killed. That something else was made to look like him. And then he evaded and got up out of here. You know? And if you're telling me I'm supposed to listen to the Bible, why would I not listen to the Quran when they say that that's the continuation of the story? I need to learn that too. Anybody don't want you to read that, something going on with them. You don't believe anything, but you look at these stories and you see how they connect. You say, okay, Asa made it out. They didn't kill him because, the book of Psalms said if he prayed to the Father, he would be saved. So no harm would come to him. So he prayed to the Father before it was time for him to be crucified. It was made to look like he was crucified. Why? Because human beings already operate in the illusionary realm. So if we come out and say, all right, we're gone, automatically y'all think somebody committed suicide because you already operate in that realm. Whatever something looks like, that's what you say is it. That's not higher level. When it looks like somebody died, you say they died. When it looks like there's a virus out here taking over and we're in the middle of a pandemic, whatever they want to call it, you say that's what it is. When it looks like somebody's president, even though that nigga wasn't president for 4 years, nigga riding bikes, falling upstairs, playing Jim Carrey, you say this person is the president. Because it looks like it. You with me? When it looked like two people in the industry are beefing, you say they're beefing. Even though it's all sales. You see? So the masters have a different way of thinking, which is really the way of thinking, because most people think they're thinking, they're not thinking. They're on a bandwagon. You see? And that bandwagon ain't able to get to certain heights. It's going in a different direction. It's not going up the mountain. You see that? So what I would explain for everybody that's listening, if you're still listening, the link that you're looking for comes through Nuwapu. And that's why I'm able to do what I'm doing right now and answer y'all questions and speak to y'all. And some of y'all like, dang. How? That makes sense. Whoa, for real? Da. That's Nuwapu that does that. And Malachi or Malachi Z York, so Duck York, brought that. You see? That's why I have it. That's the only reason. If he didn't bring it, my genes would have made it. So through all of this time periods, or all these time periods we've gone through, here you are at what's referred to as the moment of truth. What are you going to do? You say you want to break vices. All right, when are you going to do it? You say you want to start fasting. All right, when are you going to do it? You say you want to live better. You want to eat better. All right, when are you going to do it? That's where you at right now, literally right now, the moment of truth. There are multiple moments of truth. You don't have many left. A lot of people are going to wait till the last minute. They said no man knew the hour. They can't say that anymore. Malachi knew the hour and described the hour, started in 1970 up to 2030. And he hasn't missed a beat. Everything he said was going to happen has taken place. Okay, So a lot of y'all are going to wait till the last minute to about some 2030 thing. And then there's going to be anticipation, anxiety, and fear for a lot of people thinking that the world is going to end, not understanding what's really being meant by any of the things that are expressed. One of the things is you're going to have to shift states or transform. Okay? Literally, you're going to have to transform. You want to know how you can transform? Do a 9-day fast. Do 9 days with just water. Okay? Rest. Unless you got like construction job stuff. When you do a construction job thing, I'll probably tell you like drink smoothies. Okay? Fruit smoothies, stuff like that. Stuff that is not, heavy fats and unnecessary things being taken into your body. Do a 9 fast. Endure it. Because at some points it might get a little painful. Okay? As long as you're not like suffering, it'll just be a little nauseous every now and again. But like I did 9 days of isolation. I sat in a small little place, like a small closet area. And for 9 days, I didn't have any food. And on the 6th day, I swore that I was like hungry. So I asked one of the sisters to put corn juice in a bowl, just the juice from the corn, and pinto bean juice, just the juice in a bowl. By the time I was done drinking the juice from the corn, like the liquid, which is like liquid with seasoning in it, basically. By the time I was done drinking that, I was full. And that was on 6 days of no food. I was full. I thought I wanted food. I didn't want food. I needed nutrients. And my body took that in, which was really through the liquid. So a lot of electrolytes was able to get in. That's what really be fueling you. You see what I'm explaining to you? So study it. Unless you have like health issues, all of this stuff, I want people to be aware of your condition. Okay? If you're pregnant, don't do that. If you're pregnant, then just switch to like a vegetable fruit diet. You know what I'm saying? And do that for 9 days. My point is, you want to experience a transformation. I'm not selling you nothing. I'm telling you this for free. All it takes is 9 days. Take a photo of yourself on the day that you start. Start at 12 a.m. because you already programmed that that's the day. All right. So start at 12 a.m. Take a photo of yourself and then mark up to 9 days and then take a photo again. And you'll see you're going to actually transform. I've seen it. I've seen it happen with other people, and I've seen it happen with myself. That's one thing you can know, that if you ever were to teeter off the edge a little bit, you can get yourself right? By just fasting for 9 days, abstaining. You don't just fast from food. You fast from orgasm. You don't just fast from food and orgasm. You fast from sitting down and doing nothing. You don't fast just from food and orgasm, sitting down and do nothing. You fast from smoking. You fast from drinking. It's going to transform you. You see that? So you're going to have to transform, because then you're going to be able to hear. Because if you can't transform, you can't hear. What am I going to hear, Omari? I don't know, because different people hear different things. Different people have done different isolations and they had different experiences. I've done isolations for people, right? They come to me, they sit in the same area that I set up and they don't have no food or anything. They've done 3 days. And every time I walk past them, I can feel them sitting still for the first time in a long time, if ever, actually sitting still. They have different experiences. Not everybody has the same experience. So I don't know what you're going to hear. I don't know who you are. All I know is I've been given formulas and I care about people enough to just offer it or honor you with it. And you can do whatever you want when you get it. You see what I'm explaining to you? Now, let me tell you what they won't say. That when you do isolation, you say, Yaki said this. Let me tell you what he won't say. When you do isolation for 9 days, no food, right? And you sit in a quiet, dark area. All right. Now, of course, you want to have the access to the restroom. So I would advise you to set up an area near a restroom, or if you can manage it, do it in a restroom if it's big enough. All right. You might want to bring an incense or two in there just in case you have fumes. All right. You might want to open the door every now and again if you have fumes. But if you can handle it, what I would say is do it in a tight area, darkness, no food. Okay. Have your water there and do it for 9 days. And in the shadow hour, here's what you chant. Yeah, no. You take a deep breath. Yeah, no. Hold on. Yeah, no. And do that all through the shadow. Now, you don't have to. I'm just telling you that you do that 3 times. Watch what happens. If you by yourself, you don't want nobody to think you crazy outside. Do this. No, I'm not. Yeah, every day that you're in isolation. Look at what I'm telling y'all. Let's make sure we get it. You go into isolation. You start at 12 a.m. That's the beginning of your day. You do 9 days. We start off with 3 days. All right? Start off with 3 days of isolation, meaning no food, have your water, and you don't talk, and you don't have no phone. All right? So don't use no phone. Don't have, of course, you got emergency. If you got emergency, you're going to have to know how to manage your own stuff. I can't do that for everybody. Don't bring your phone. You might want to bring you a book, some books, read. You can write, and you can sit still. And in the shadow hour, you'll know when the shadow hour comes. In the shadow hour, you take your deep breaths, and you breathe out the chant of Yenu. Oh, it's a lot different from Om. It's a lot different from Om. Okay, there are different degrees. Remember I tell you, a lot of people got people chanting and they just doing it slow. There are different degrees too. You want to do something else you can activate? And I'm just telling you to be ready though, because when you do it, don't be scared and getting upset with me, because you start opening up doors where you can receive visitation. You think that you're seeking these people and they'll come right to you and they'll talk to you and deal with you. Sleep incubation, not sleep paralysis, sleep incubation. You'll be visited by the one they call the angels or the extraterrestrials or God. Same thing that took place in the Bible. Multiple times people had dreams and visions, but they had to fast, you see, and abstain away from the noisy world and the frequencies that Zuin and them put out here. So you can do it's like saying the letters W and the letter W-O-O. Woo. You do that, okay? So there are things that you will be opening up. But when you do that, remember, I'm telling you, you don't do that on a day-to-day basis. So you're going to be tuning yourself to a whole different degree. So you'll be open. And when you come out of isolation, I've seen this happen. You're going to be walking different. You're going to be talking different. Things are going to look different. You're going to feel different. You won't be the same. You will literally transform. Okay? Why are you saying this? I'm saying this to y'all because it's been said to me. I don't know how much time you got. I don't know how all this stuff will end. I'm not going to claim that. What I will say is it's real. The green light is real. Yangon is real. The overseers are real. I don't know how I can prove that to you unless you're around me. For those who've been around me, I proved it to them. I proved to them that I don't move by myself. I have 18 travelers with me. There's certain things I'll be able to show people. Other than that, it's like you'll have to experience it for yourself. So I give people the formula to be like, yo, don't believe me, because if you believe me, then it's no different than what everybody else out here doing, and you won't make it. Go in and see for yourself. I have to give this, not warning. Yeah, I will say warning. I have to give a warning. Before you do your 3 days of isolation, you might want to do, if you still eat meat, you might want to do about a week without eating meat. Because you'll be dense. And when you open up certain gates and you're dense, it's like you'll be on lower vibratory frequency or lower realm. And you'll have, like, the same way you have access to certain frequencies in the club, okay, and certain things in the club because you're in the club, okay, certain beings will have access to you if you existing in their plane or vibrating in their plane. So I would advise it. You don't got to listen to me. Even though I'm telling you, when you eat these foods like their meats, it affects your subconscious plane and your subconscious being. And the subconscious is very loud and all around you when you're in isolation. When you just by yourself and you're in a small space, a small area, and ain't no light and ain't no frequencies from the phone, ain't no distraction. You have to just deal with you. Subconscious is loud. So I would warn people, you might want to do 7 days with no meat. In that same 7 days, no meat, you want to do 7 days, no pornography, no any of that stuff, no drill music, no arguing, anything that will cause for you to fall and stress, anything like that. You don't want to do that. You want to take 7 days and really clean your system out before you go in. I have to be responsible because somebody came out and said, yo, somebody tried to take their body. Somebody like, yo, trade bodies with me. You see? And I said, okay, it could have been what you were eating, because I've experienced it where you can have a nightmare from eating something that's too heavy. It affects your subconscious plane. So what else did I tell them? Yeah, you take your water bottles in there. You want to have your water. You might want to bring like your washcloth, your towel. Okay. depending on what your bathroom is, you might not have a shower. So you wash up in the sink, you know what I mean, to get rid of like the unclean smells and all of that. And you want to bring extra towels, make sure you get the water up, all that. What else I tell them? Yeah, and go through it. And this was so powerful about it. You can walk out at any time. So if you walk out before your 3 days is up, okay, I'm not gonna put you down. What I'm gonna say is this: you will never be able to blame anybody about the condition that you're in. If you attempt to do 3 days and you can't do 3 days sitting by yourself, not for emergency reasons, you can't sit still for 3 days, you ain't gonna make it. I can't say it no other way. You won't be able to make it. You have to be able to do it. Now, some of y'all want me to do it for y'all. I see that. Listen, you got to be able to do it because nobody told me for them 9 days that I was in there. Nobody told me you got to stay in there. I stayed in there because it was my will. Same way I can't not eat food for you when you do your fast. If you sit there in that isolation and you like, I got to get out of here, and there's no guard at that gate keeping you in, then the reason why you're not ascending in that moment is telling you it's you're holding you back. So you have to do more introspection. So you got to go back, do it again. There's a genetic war taking place, not just no spiritual war. That's another science I gave people. When you're saying spiritual war, remember that spirit, like you see to the left of the screen, spiraling, that DNA, that spiral, or that double helix, that's spiral, spiritus. The spiritual war that you're speaking about is happening on a genetic level. You see? So when you start doing something and you like, why am I doing this? I don't even want to smoke weed. Why am I smoking weed? Somebody in your bloodline want to smoke weed. You might not know that they call certain things in genetics traits and characteristics. Heredity. So you'll do certain things that your ancestors did even if you didn't know them. Do you hear what I'm explaining to you? Nothing that I'm telling y'all is spooky. Some things they don't have a science to because they don't know anything about it. Most things you can go and research and find out about, okay, and test it out in real life. You with me? So there is a certain thing called characteristics. Your mama told you that. So you act just like your daddy. You what? Act. Character. It's a play. And you see how genes play out? Are you with me? And you have something called a screenplay or a playwright where plays are written. All right. There are things that are coded in your genes, and there's something called genetic transcription. All right. Look at the key words, because that who or that utterance is being expressed and something has to transcribe it.